Hi children, how are you all? I am S. Tirumala Reddy, TGV Science, Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya Lepakshi, Anandapur District, Andhra Pradesh, from Navodaya Vidyalaya Samiti, Hyderabad region. Today, we get into the topic materials, metals and non-metals for class 8. The main objectives of this lesson, at the end of this chapter, students will be explaining the terms like malleability, ductility and sonorous. They write word equation for the reactions of metals with oxygen and water. They differentiate between the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals. They list out various uses of metals and non-metals. The contents included in this chapter are introduction to elements and atoms, metals, non-metals and metalloids, physical properties of metals and non-metals, chemical properties of metals and non-metals, reactivity series of metals, displacement reaction, uses of metals and non-metals. First of all, let us know what an element is. Do you know? An element is a substance which cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reactions such as applying heat, light and electricity. And some of the common elements that we come across in our daily life are hydrogen, helium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, potassium, calcium, iron, copper, zinc, bromine, iodine, silver, gold, mercury, etc. So these are some of the elements. As of today, almost 118 elements are discovered, and among them, these are some of the common elements. And every element is represented by a symbol. All elements have a separate symbol. No two elements can have the same symbol. For example, the symbol of hydrogen is H and the symbol of element nitrogen is N. The symbol of an element also represents one atom of that element. Now children, do you know what an atom is? Atom is the smallest particle of an element. Atom is the smallest particle of an element. And an element is a substance which is made up of only one kind of atoms. And for example, oxygen element is made up of oxygen atoms, whereas iron is another element and it is made up of iron atoms. Now, the atoms of an element remain unaffected by the physical changes in the element. For example, the atoms of liquid sulfur or vaporized sulfur would be the same to that of solid sulfur. As I said, there is a great variety of substances in the universe, but the number of elements forming these substances is limited. Children, how many elements I said? 118 elements are discovered, and among them only 94 elements are naturally occurring elements. And an important classification of elements is in terms of metals, non-metals and metalloids. So elements are classified into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Now this is the periodic table which contains all 118 elements. So this is the 118th element, organosome. Organosome is 118th element. So among all these elements, some elements are considered as metals and some elements are considered as non-metals and some elements are considered as metalloids. In this chapter, we discuss the physical and chemical properties of metals and non-metals, their uses, and also we discuss what are metalloids and examples of such metalloids. Now, we discuss the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Here, metals and non-metals will have different physical properties in terms of the first property, malleability. What is meant by malleability? Children, do you know? Malleability is a physical property of metals by which metals can be beaten into thin sheets. For example, gold and silver are the best malleable metals. Aluminium and copper metals are also highly malleable metals. But children, we cannot make all metals into thin sheets by beating them, by hammering them. There are some exceptions. So we can say that most of the metals are malleable. Among all metals, gold and silver are the best malleable metals. Aluminium and copper are highly malleable metals. And you know, children, these are the tools. And this is an axe, this is a spade, and this is a shovel. These are all made of iron metal. And do you know which property of iron metal helps an ironsmith to make these tools? Do you know, children? It is because of the property malleability. The malleability of iron made it possible for an ironsmith to make all these tools. Non-metals are not malleable. They are brittle in nature. They are very soft. If we hammer them, they will be broken into pieces. They will be broken into small pieces. For example, carbon is a non-metal. Carbon is found in different forms like coal, charcoal, graphite and also diamond. Now, pencil lead. Pencil lead is nothing but graphite. If we beat the pencil lead with a hammer, it will be broken into small pieces. So, pencil lead, which is a form of graphite, a carbon, is not malleable. So, non-metals are not malleable. Children, another physical property of metals is ductility. Most of the metals are ductile. Then what is meant by ductility? The property of metals by which they can be drawn into wires is called ductility. Gold and silver are the best ductile metals. Copper and aluminium are also highly ductile metals. That is why copper metal is used for making electrical wires, and also aluminium is used for making electrical transmission wires. Then non-metals are not ductile. That means they cannot be made into wires. For example, this is coal and this is sulfur. Coal contains carbon, which is a non-metal. This is sulfur, it is also a non-metal. We cannot make wires from these non-metals. That is why non-metals are not ductile. Another physical property of metals is sonorous. Metals are sonorous. This means metals produce ringing sounds when we strike them against a hard surface. Are you all observing these images? This is a bell which you generally see in the temples. This is an electric bell. We can see it in the schools and offices. And this is a cycle bell. These are all made of metals. Because if we strike them with a hard object, they produce ringing sounds. That is why metals are sonorous. Whereas non-metals are not sonorous. This means that non-metals cannot produce ringing sounds when we strike them with a hard object. For example, coal. As I said, coal contains carbon. Carbon is a non-metal. Sulfur is another non-metal. These non-metals don't produce ringing sounds when we strike them with a hard object. Another physical property of metals is conductivity. Children, metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. They conduct heat easily to pass through them. That is why the utensils in the houses, which we use them in the houses, are made of metals. Silver is the best metal for the conductor of heat. It conducts heat very easily. Copper metal also a better conductor of heat than aluminium metal. As I said, metals are the good conductors of electricity. That is why copper wires are used, because copper is a metal and it is used for making electrical wires in the houses. Silver is the best conductor of electricity. Non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. This means non-metals don't conduct electricity to pass through them. They don't conduct heat to pass through them easily. So, non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. For example, phosphorus. Phosphorus and also sulfur. These two are non-metals. They are poor conductors of heat and electricity. They don't conduct heat and electricity to pass through them easily. There is one exception, that is graphite. Graphite is a form of carbon. Carbon is a non-metal, but carbon in the form of graphite is a good conductor of electricity. That is why graphite rods are used in electric cells, since carbon in the form of graphite conducts electricity easily. Another physical property of metals is luster. It means shiny appearance. Metals have shiny appearance. That is why metals are used in making jewelry items like this one. It is made of gold and it is made of silver. So gold and silver are the metals which have shiny appearance. That is why they are used in making jewelry items. Non-metals are not lustrous. This means they don't have shiny appearance. They are dull in appearance. But there is one exception, iodine. Iodine is a non-metal, but it has shiny appearance. Another physical property of metals is hardness. This means metals cannot be cut easily, but there are some exceptions. There are some metals which can be cut them with a knife easily. For example, sodium and potassium. These are the metals, but we can cut them easily. They are not very hard. That is why sodium and potassium are called soft metals. Most of the non-metals are quite soft. They can be cut easily. There is one exception, that is diamond. Diamond is a form of non-metal carbon. In fact, diamond is the hardest natural substance known. Another important point is that mercury is a metal and it exists in liquid state at room temperature. Children, do you know the use of mercury? In class 7, you might have learnt where the mercury metal is used. Yes, you are right. Mercury metal is used in making thermometers. There is a non-metal called bromine. Bromine is a non-metal which exists in liquid state at room temperature. Children, now we discuss the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals have different chemical properties. First we go with reaction with oxygen. Metals react with oxygen gas to form metal oxides. We represent this chemical reaction in the form of a word equation like this: metal plus oxygen to form metal oxide. So when a metal burns in air, it reacts with oxygen gas and forms corresponding metal oxide. Magnesium is a metal. When it burns in air, it reacts with oxygen gas and forms its metal oxide called magnesium oxide. We represent this chemical reaction in the form of a word equation like this: magnesium plus oxygen give rise to magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide dissolves in water to form magnesium hydroxide. And we represent this chemical reaction in the form of word equation like this: magnesium oxide plus water give rise to magnesium hydroxide. Now, reaction of iron metal with oxygen in air in nature. Children, are you all observing these two images? This is a car and these are the iron tools made of metal iron, and these objects are kept in open places for a long time. When iron objects are kept in open places for a long time, the iron metal present in the objects slowly reacts with atmospheric oxygen gas and water vapor and change into iron oxide. Iron oxide is also a metal oxide, and we generally call iron oxide as rust. Another reaction of metal with oxygen in the nature is copper metal. When the objects made of copper metal are kept in open places for a long time, then the copper metal reacts with atmospheric oxygen gas, water vapor and carbon dioxide gas, and slowly it develops a green coat. And this green coat is due to the formation of two substances. One is copper hydroxide and another substance is copper carbonate. The entire chemical reaction can be represented in the form of a word equation like this: copper plus water plus carbon dioxide plus oxygen give rise to copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. And these two materials appear in the form of a green color over iron objects, over copper objects. Now, another important point is that there are two metals called sodium and potassium. These two metals are highly reactive metals with oxygen gas in air and water. So, if these two metals are exposed to air or water vapor, they quickly react with oxygen gas or water, and during this reaction, a lot of heat is produced. So, to prevent their contact with oxygen gas or water, generally sodium and potassium are stored in kerosene. So there are two metals which are stored in kerosene. They are sodium and potassium. Next, reaction of a non-metal with oxygen. When non-metals react with oxygen, they produce non-metal oxides. And we represent that chemical reaction in the form of word equation: non-metal plus oxygen give rise to non-metal oxides. And non-metal oxides are acidic in nature, hence they turn blue litmus to red. One example of a non-metal is sulfur. Sulfur is a non-metal and it is available in the form of powder. So when sulfur powder is burnt, then it reacts with oxygen gas and produces sulfur dioxide gas. Sulfur dioxide is a non-metal oxide and it has acidic nature. When sulfur dioxide gas is dissolved in water, it produces sulfurous acid. Sulfurous acid turns blue litmus to red. So we can say that oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. They turn blue litmus to red. Reaction with water. When a metal reacts with water, it produces metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. And there are various metals. The different metals react with water with different speeds. For example, sodium is a metal which can react with water vigorously even though water is cold water. So sodium metal can react even with cold water very quickly. And there are some metals like magnesium which can react with hot water to form its metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. And there are some metals which react with steam like zinc and iron. And some metals don't react with water vapor or steam also. For example, copper, silver and gold. Copper, silver and gold, these are the three metals which don't react with water vapor also. Non-metals don't react with water. For example, phosphorus is a non-metal and it is a highly reactive non-metal with atmospheric oxygen. So to prevent its contact with oxygen gas, phosphorus non-metal is stored in water. Reaction with acids. Metals react with dilute acids and form salt and hydrogen gas. For example, zinc is a metal. It reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid and produces its corresponding salt, zinc chloride, and during this reaction, hydrogen gas is evolved. Hydrogen gas puts off a lighted matchstick with a pop sound when it is brought near the mouth of a test tube containing a metal and dilute acid. The less reactive metals like copper, silver and gold don't react with dilute acids. Children, are you observing these containers? These containers have certain foodstuffs like citrus fruit juices, pickles, chutney, curd, etc. And if these foodstuffs are kept in iron, aluminium, copper containers, then the metals of these containers react with the acids present in the foodstuffs to form toxic salts. And these toxic salts can make us sick and also damage our health. Reaction with bases. When a metal reacts with a base like sodium hydroxide, it can form salt and hydrogen. But not all metals react with bases like sodium hydroxide. For example, metal reacts with base to form salt and hydrogen. Aluminium is a metal, sodium hydroxide is a base. When aluminium is heated with sodium hydroxide solution, then one salt is produced called sodium aluminate, and during this reaction hydrogen gas is evolved, and this chemical reaction can be represented in the form of a word equation like this: aluminium metal, sodium hydroxide, a base, to produce sodium aluminate and hydrogen gas. Similarly, zinc is another metal. When zinc metal reacts with sodium hydroxide solution, it produces sodium zincate and hydrogen gas. The reaction of a nonmetal with bases is quite complex. Reactivity series of metals. Children, you have seen many metals. Among them, some metals are more reactive metals and some of them are less reactive, whereas some metals are unreactive. Reactivity series of metals is the descending order of metals with their reactivities. In the reactivity series, the highly reactive metal is placed at the top and the least reactive metal is placed at the bottom. This is the reactivity series of metals, and here we find potassium at the top and gold at the bottom. This states that potassium is more reactive metal and gold is the less reactive metal. And if we come from top to bottom, the reactivity of these metals decreases. Children, one important chemical reaction we study in class 8 is displacement reaction. Displacement reaction is a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its salt solution. For example, adding iron nails to copper sulfate solution. If we add iron nails to copper sulfate solution, then after few minutes, the color of the copper sulfate solution turns to green and the iron nail develops a brown deposit on it. This means that iron displaces copper from its copper sulfate and forms an iron sulfate, and the free copper is deposited on iron in the form of a brown coat. We see the word equation for this displacement reaction. Here, iron is a metal. It is more reactive metal than copper. Hence, it displaces copper from its salt solution, that is copper sulfate solution. As a result, iron sulfate is produced and the free copper is deposited on iron as a brown coat. So this activity proves that iron is more reactive than copper. Another example, if we see a copper metal strips when added to iron sulfate solution, then no displacement reaction takes place because copper is a less reactive metal than iron. If we go for another example, if we add zinc metal granules to copper sulfate solution, after few minutes we see the blue color of copper sulfate solution fades out and zinc sulfate is produced and the free copper is deposited on zinc metal granules as a brown coat. So this activity proves that zinc is a more reactive metal than copper. And if we go for another example, here if we add copper metal strips to zinc sulfate solution, then no displacement reaction takes place because copper is a less reactive metal than zinc. As a result, no displacement reaction takes place. And if we go for another example, when we add zinc metal granules to iron sulfate solution, then the green color of iron sulfate solution gradually fades and as a result zinc sulfate is formed and iron is also formed. This activity proves that zinc is more reactive than iron. If we take another example, if we add iron nails to zinc sulfate solution, then no displacement reaction takes place because iron is a less reactive metal than zinc. So from these activities, we can conclude that zinc is a more reactive metal than iron and copper, iron is more reactive metal than copper, and copper is a less reactive metal than iron and zinc. Now, we see uses of metals. Metals like iron, copper, aluminium are used to make cooking utensils and water boilers. Copper metal is used in making electrical wires and electrical appliances. Aluminium metal is used for making electric cables. It is also used to make the spare parts of aeroplanes. Iron metal is used to make iron nails, screws, machinery, railway lines, vehicles such as buses, cars and other automobiles. Zinc metal is used for galvanizing iron metal to prevent rusting. Some metals like gold and silver are used in making jewelry items. Mercury metal is used in making thermometers to read temperature. And uses of non-metals. Non-metals are also useful for us in our daily life. For example, oxygen. Oxygen is a non-metal and it is highly essential for all living beings for their breathing. Nitrogen is a non-metal and it is essential to make fertilizers which enhance the growth of plants. And chlorine is a non-metal and it is used to make water free from germs. So chlorine gas is used in water purification process to kill the germs. Iodine is another non-metal. It is used in making a purple colored solution called tincture iodine. Tincture iodine is used as an antiseptic solution on wounds. Another example of non-metal, sulfur and also phosphorus. These two non-metals are used in making fireworks like firecrackers. Carbon is a non-metal and it is used in the form of graphite to make pencil leads and also electrodes. So, children, these are the uses of metals and non-metals. Next topic is metalloids. Metalloids are the elements which possess the characteristics of both metals and non-metals. Some of the examples of metalloids are silicon, germanium, arsenic, etc. Children, did you all understand? Thank you. Thank you for watching.